Spring on the homestead naturally brings in abundance and new beginnings. For some, calving, lambing, or kidding season has just begun, and for others, it is coming to an end. Flowers or seed starts may be beginning to emerge, hinting at what's to come for the summer days ahead. Those of us with chickens are certainly trying to find creative ways to use up the never-ending supply that they are providing. For many of us, the plentiful days of spring have yet to arrive, with many signs of false spring giving us hope, only to be reminded when the freeze inevitably comes that it is not yet time to get back into the swing of things. It's almost like the calm before the chaos, sort of. Today, I want to take you along through some busy end of March days where the promise of new growth is starting to feel more real every day. The birds are chirping, spring cleaning is underway, and new additions are slowly making their arrival. And everything that we are waiting for is just around the corner, making every cold morning and long prep days worth it. Replacing things does not have to happen all at once. Killing it with my 2026 garden. Look at this. Well, that was an absolute fail. Welcome to my little corner of the internet where I document our life here on our homestead. The simple, the hard, and the beautiful parts of building something intentionally and slowly. Even though we are well into April by the time this is being uploaded, I figured it would still be important to show the calm before the chaos, a sort of reflection on what it took to prep for the busy days ahead. I just wanted to give a warm welcome to both those returning back to my channel and those of you who are new here. I would love if you would stick around, like, subscribe, comment down below what else you would like to see from me. I really have been enjoying uploading these YouTube videos in addition to everything I'm posting over on TikTok and Instagram. On those apps, I post more everyday life. Here on the homestead, that doesn't usually make it to these long form videos. We obviously had some water sitting in the greenhouse for who knows how long because of that vent breaking. So a lot of these got moldy, but for now we do have these two shelves and this one. We are still in the early days of spring here in these clips, and even now as I am recording this voiceover, we are actually experiencing a hard freeze tonight in the middle of April. It's been slow going to start seeds and get things planted. In one of my previous videos, I had shown the established garden beds that we have here on our property, knowing that those would not work well for our family considering that the dogs and the children are constantly playing in those shallow raised beds. So as a complete newbie gardener trying to learn how to do it all with toddlers underfoot and in a climate that doesn't allow for a huge potential for the prettiest garden ever. We have a pretty short growing season here where we live, along with extreme weather temperatures either way. And yeah, like I said, toddlers underfoot who will quote unquote help me plant seeds, and then I lose track of what is planted where, and I am definitely having to battle the constant fight to not be overwhelmed. And also realizing that nobody is putting this pressure on me to have this beautiful garden except for myself. Well, I'm already killing it with my 2026 garden. And by killing it, I mean literally leaving my tomatoes that I just put in this grow bag out overnight when we had a frost. So one of them looks like it's gonna be okay. This other one, I don't think that one's coming back. Tomatoes can't survive frost. That's why they're not recommended to be put out yet in my area, but I got a little overzealous and decided to transplant them, and they could be out during the day and have to come in at night. I just need to set an alarm on my phone. Did anyone else know that the Dollar Tree carried certified organic seeds and gardening supplies? These California Wonder and Space Master Bush cucumbers are certified organic. I am very excited to plant them, and I will let you know if they end up germinating well.
I dipped her. Woo!
Can we all just take a minute to appreciate my toddler squat? I have been perfecting this since I was pregnant with Weston, who is my first. I learned that it was a good way to prepare for birth, and I'm so glad that I took it seriously because I was squatting almost the entire time during both of my first 2 labors, and it's very likely I will be doing that again this next time around. So it is something that I continue to do throughout my pregnancies and even when I'm not pregnant, because Lord knows a good toddler squat is necessary at times. Some of you may have noticed that we are tearing the irises out of this flower bed. I want to redo the garden beds all the way around our pump house here, and the irises had just taken over. They are very hardy in our area. I think they're just a hardy flower in general. I did end up saving all the rhizomes and passing them on to others, but they are planted all over our property, which I am very grateful for. They are absolutely beautiful when I can maintain them well. We definitely enjoyed this muddy process of cleaning up all these rhizomes and getting the garden bed prepped for new flowers. Believe it or not, this is actually my first loaf of traditional sourdough bread that I've ever made. And technically this isn't even traditional sourdough bread because I cut it with a little bit of einkorn. This is the einkorn sourdough bread from Lisa Bass's or Farmhouse on Boone's sourdough cookbook. It's definitely one that I will continue to make in my kitchen. Obviously, I didn't eat it. I am completely gluten-free. I did end up making a gluten-free sourdough loaf for myself. It's actually really telling when it comes to my personality type and who I am when it comes to how I want to get things done in my home and around our farm. I struggle with ADHD and wanting to do things perfectly right the first time I try it. For many of you guys who know me personally, that might kind of seem silly to you because I would not seem like someone who chases perfection and is a perfectionist. I can be very messy, and I definitely have what you would consider a type B or type C personality, where I just kind of go with the flow and don't care about a lot of things. Something I've talked about in my last couple of videos is chasing progress over perfection, even if the end result of that progress doesn't come as quickly as you imagined. In many things, I tend to find myself in this executive function and analysis paralysis state, having a hard time sustaining or completing a task, coupled with this feeling where I want to do something, but I just can't quite get it started or continue to make progress once I have begun. Making bread specifically, I have let the fear of not doing it completely perfect stop me from even trying it in the first place. And sure, I've dabbled in sourdough discard recipes and made many gluten-free sourdough goodies over the last few years. Yeah, this was literally my first sourdough loaf ever. And it's crazy to think that because I know from a health perspective that making bread from home is the healthiest way to do it. Bread bought from the store is full of random fillers and oils and extra ingredients that just really aren't necessary. So making bread from home just really is the best way to do it, whether that's a yeasted bread or a sourdough bread. Because I am such an avid researcher, I've come to learn that the healthiest way to make bread is by freshly milling your grains and creating it into sourdough loaf. I do think that buying grain in bulk and then freshly milling your flour would probably be the best investment over time in not only your health but in your budget. But it's not something I could do right now, is fork up $500 to buy a fancy grain mill just so that I can have the quote unquote perfect bread and have freshly milled loaves for my family throughout the week. I don't know. In my head, it makes sense, I guess. If I can't do it right, I just won't do it at all. So I've been buying it from the store. I hope my silly little story about my sourdough bread gives you a little bit of confidence to try something that you have been wanting to do and not to seek perfection over progress.
Hi, you're a big mama. All right, come on, let's go. Let's go.
Well, that was an absolute fail. Colton worked on that setup this weekend. He put field fencing up all the way around to hopefully be able to keep them in there, get them roosting in that coop at night. Now that I am moving towards building garden beds, working on the landscaping, we can't really have free-range chickens. I love free-range chickens. I know a lot of people get to a point where they just absolutely hate it. I love it. I really, really like it, so it kind of makes me sad that we're trying to move away from that, but we also want to utilize the chickens to heal our pasture back here. And I don't know, we kind of just got to figure out something else. We'll see if this is going to keep all of these chickens in. I can already see that they're very upset that they're locked in there. Another fun thing that went on this weekend is my parents actually brought us a new rooster. We haven't had a rooster in quite some time. We've been having some broody chickens sit on eggs, and my parents had an extra rooster that they really loved that they didn't want to get rid of. They already have a rooster who's a head honcho at their house, so they gave him to us. His name is Jack. Hopefully we will be making permanent places for everyone to go. I don't want to do anything permanent on this farm, but until we can get the setup we need to be able to rotate everybody through the pasture, they have to go to more like semi-permanent locations. After it stops raining here in the next 2 weeks, our ground is going to be hard as a rock, and it is impossible to pound stakes in the ground for those electric nets, so we need to come up with a different solution for rotating chickens through the pasture. We're just kind of making it work. Make do or do without. It's kind of my life motto this year, so that's what we got going on the farm right now. I haven't talked a lot about my journey to low tox living on my channel yet. One thing that I have slowly been trying to do over the last 5 years is take plastic out of my kitchen, out of my home as much as possible, but my kitchen is the main part of my house that I focused on for the last 5 years. And I wanted to share that replacing things does not have to happen all at once. I am 5 years into this. I have known about lead in KitchenAid paddle attachments for well over a year now. I just now getting to replacing all of my attachments for stainless steel. When I originally found out about the lead in the paddles, the mass hysteria was just crazy. For one, everybody was panic buying the stainless steel attachments off Amazon and making the prices go crazy, and I just knew that I do enough in my life to try to replace as I can and as I can afford it. I was not going to pay $100 for 3 attachments for my KitchenAid. Recently, my husband was looking at the paddle and it was chipping. He's like, "Hannah, this is not safe to use to feed our family." And I was like, yep, you're absolutely right. So we went ahead and bought the dough hook, the paddle attachment, and the whisk. I absolutely love them. I will link them down below if you want to check them out. I ended up paying $31, I believe. Not expensive at all. I have used these to make bread a few times now, and my mom used the attachments today to make mashed potatoes and cake and all sorts of things, and we are really, really liking these. So I'm super excited to finally have made the switch to stainless steel for my KitchenAid. And here's a reminder that progress is not linear. You could do things to make your life a little less toxic, one step at a time. I'm sitting here moving the dog kennel to the back of the truck because I'm about to go pick up 10 Rhode Island red chickens. This is the area right here that I just pulled the chicken coop out of. And I just watched a hen walk out from behind there. Look at this. Been wondering where all my eggs have been going. Found them. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Lots and lots of changes happening here on the farm, prepping for the new animals that are coming. We have lots of new babies that have hit the ground since I made this video. I cannot wait to share with you all what has been going on here in this past month. We've been so crazy busy prepping for our new baby as well, who is coming very soon. I am due in 1 month from the time that I am making this voiceover. So we got lots and lots of eggs coming in, lots and lots of babies. There are so many exciting things that have been happening around here that I can't wait to share with you all. I've been recording as much as I have the mental capacity to do so, and we'll be getting that out for you shortly.